So here we're going to talk a little bit about zooming in Rhino and some of the things that you can do to fix your model if it stops being able to zoom in. So first thing to check is that you're modeling somewhere near the origin of your file. So if you're way out in space over here and you see this little grid over here, try to bring your model back closer to the origin. A lot of times the zooming issues happen because you're not very close to the origin. So check that as a first potential source of the problem. So if we have a curve here and we lose the ability to zoom on this, so let's say we're over here and we're zooming and it looks something like this and we can't get close to it. The first thing that I like to do is just select my object, and then if we go up here to our toolbar and you see this little magnifying glass that has the two yellow circles in it, we can left click on that and that's going to be zoom selected. So what that's going to do is if we have a bunch of other objects in here and we select all of those and we click that, it's going to zoom to those objects that we select. So if we only select one, it'll only zoom to the one that we select. So that's a nice one to get your zooming back. So then that by default will just zoom on that and it'll allow you to pan back around that object. So in all of our views, what we can do is if we highlight that one object and instead of left clicking on this, you see the option comes up for zoom selected all viewports. So if we right click, what that's going to do is it's going to center that object in all of our viewports. So that's a nice thing to get all of the viewports back to seeing the actual object that you have. So that's one option. So the other is if you don't want to use the bar up here, what you can do is you can highlight this and you can type zoom, and then there's a bunch of different options that pop up. So the one I like to select here is selected. So you can see the little S is underlined there, so that means that we can just type S and then hit enter, and that will also do zoom selected. Another shortcut for this would be if we highlight this and we just type ZS and then click enter, that will zoom selected in on that object. So another thing we can do is if we're in the middle of a command, so let's say we want to draw a circle starting at that endpoint over there, and our zooming gets a little fussy and we can't actually continue zooming into that. So in the middle of a command, one thing you can do is you can do Control W and then you can drag a window, and what that'll do is it'll zoom in on a specific portion of your model and it will allow you to just zoom based on what that actual spot is that you highlighted with the window. It's very similar to this command, so you can also do that in the middle of a command. So you can go up here to this zoom window and you can left click on that and that will do the same thing. That will allow you to draw a window that you then zoom in on. So a lot of times when you lose the ability to zoom, all you have to do is you have to just get that back somehow. So if you're really lost, you can just do a little point there and you can just click this zoom selected and that will get the ability back for you to zoom in on this portion. There's a lot more options within the zoom menus, but those are the two that I use most often to solve the problem where you're zooming, it just won't keep zooming in, or you're panning around a portion of the model that you don't actually want to be panning around.